real estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga, better known as the man with somewhat of a plan.
Yeah, I got a full plan today. We got a full house, too.
Yeah, we do. We have an awesome guest with us today.
We do.
That's Paul Furman and Sharon Furman, AJF Engineering and Inspections, doing home and commercial inspections. How are you doing?
We're great. Thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to learn some things about inspections.
Absolutely. Everything you've ever wanted to know and haven't wanted to know.
Yeah?
Yeah, and as agents, we want to know this stuff.
And believe me, we're
well,
not
good.
just always a
Some
deal
do.
killer.
Some agents do. Some would rather take the ostrich approach.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So why don't you tell us, I guess, introduce to the agents how long you've been in business and kind of how you got into it.
Absolutely. So I'll start. Never at a loss for words, but
Okay.
we started in 1996. We actually moved from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We had owned a radon and environmental company there that we sold. It actually, we're proud to say, it still exists today.
Wow.
So that was a really great foundation. We decided that we needed a change. I guess it was one snowstorm too many. And Paul is actually a professional engineer. He's mechanical and has a background in nuclear engineering and radiation engineering. I always said we saved on candles, don't have to blows in the dark. And we actually met, which is a funny story we don't have time for today, but it's always great with out at happy hours, that we met in the old TWA terminal in Phoenix Airport. And so we've always had an affinity for the Southwest. I love for Phoenix. So
Got it. All right.
yeah. So we didn't know a single person, and we moved ourselves, our two kids that were 8 and 10 at the time, and our dog, and started AJF Engineering in our house.
Okay.
And at that time, home inspectors weren't licensed in Arizona, and so we were a little behind the times here. And so with Paul's expertise, having been licensed in other states and also a member of ASHI, and which was an association, and being an engineer, of course, he could help us lead the way.
Got it. All right.
So what happened was we got here, and I took the first 6 months off because I'd been working for 20 straight years, and they said, hey, you got to get this inspection thing going. It took about 8 months to get my first inspection. So for realtors or anybody out there that's starting out, you just have to keep persevering.
Yeah.
And then 22 years later, we've got 15 inspectors, and we've done 65,000 plus home inspections, commercial inspections. So everybody really is treated like a family. We have 21 employees. So that's kind of it where we're at now.
Yeah, I think the title of engineer really it's attractive.
It is. At the time, it made perfect sense because many of the clients we actually started in the luxury home market, and so many of our clients were coming from other parts of the country. They were buying second and third homes here. And they were used to, without licensing happening, they were used to hiring engineers in other parts of the country. So it helped immediately set us apart.
Give you that credibility for sure.
Absolutely. And so that was a big part of how we started. Now we've added inspections in, and we're actually, sometimes we're AJF Engineering and Inspections, and sometimes we're AJF Inspections and Engineering.
Got it.
We kind of go back and forth. But
depends on what the demand is, right?
Yeah. The corporate legal name is AJF Engineering.
Yeah, got it. So are you Eagles fans?
I went to a lot of Eagles games.
I'm still an Eagles fan.
But I will tell you,
I'm
in 2008, when the Cardinals were in the NFC Championship game,
You jumped on the bandwagon.
I took my son to that game, and we were the Cardinals fans. And now I'm actually a season ticket holder, but this year it's an ugly year.
You can't even sell those tickets. Can you? No, I'm just
I think it's about half face right now. No, it's ugly.
I'm a big Cardinals fan.
Oh,
so,
yeah. So we'll be there on Sunday. Hopefully we'll
we'll be there too. My wife is a 49ers fan, and she's a native, by the way.
Oh, funny. That's funny.
Those are the fair weather fans, those 49er fans.
Well, what's funny is she always says that she's a 49ers fan because when she was growing up, they didn't have a team here. So it was either the Rams, it was the Chargers, or it was the Raiders or the Niners. So she decided to go with the Niners, and there it is.
And they did used to win a lot of games.
Yeah, and if we win just 2 games against the Niners, I'm okay with that.
That sounds like the Seahawks.
That's funny. That's funny. I just saw the movie Invincible the other day.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's a good one.
We'll have to watch that one.
Anyway, so why don't we...
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Did you have something?
No.
Okay. Why don't you... So let's hear from your mouths then, from inspectors, right? How would you describe an inspection? What's the definition, I guess, or what is a home inspection?
Sure.
I mean, we as real estate agents have our idea, obviously, but...
Yeah. Well, what we always share with our clients or new agents that aren't familiar with the business is that the actual definition of a home inspection is that it's a visual inspection of all of the major accessible systems of the property for that day and time, as they existed for that day and time. And so we're first cut. We're generalists. We're there to look at all of the different systems. What is it, Paul? At least 13 or 15 systems. 600-700
items.
Easily for an average size home. And so what the example I like to give is you go to the family doctor and you chat, you fill in paperwork, he asks you basic questions, and then if they're concerned, they recommend further diagnostics, go get blood work or go to the cardiologist or what have you if it's needed.
Right.
That's somewhat what we do.
Kind of like the general practice.
We're first cut because to try to get each individual major system, have people come out and in a short time frame and inconveniencing sellers would be a problem. But there are also other reasons that are important to have a home inspection.
Yeah, and so basically, it's the biggest purchase that most people make.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So when you are spending that kind of money on an asset like that, you would want to know what's wrong with it, what am I getting into, how old's the air conditioner, how old's the water heater, what's the roof look like. So, as Sharon mentioned, you could get a roofer, a plumber, an AC guy, get them all at the property, but it would be kind of impractical, and it may cost a lot of money to get these individual people. So we're the generalists. We come in, and we're the first cut, kind of like the family doctor. So we recommend, like, for example, if we see roof leaks or whatever, then we would recommend a roofer take a look at that, and they're responsible for giving you an idea what that may cost or what the scope of that fix would be.
So what do you see out here in Arizona? What are some of the, I guess, major things you see out in the field?
Well, everything, all your major, the roof is always a major item, We've had these recent monsoons. We've had a lot of rain this summer. Everybody's concerned about the roof leaking. So, that's obviously a major concern. The air conditioning, it gets really hot in Arizona, so those systems have to run all the time. So that's a major problem. One of the things that we've been seeing lately a lot is problems with the underground drain pipes. A lot of the older houses built in the 60s, 70s, they use a cast iron system, and they have about a 55-year life, and they get clogged, they collapse, and that can cost you, thousands of dollars to correct, because basically you're talking about digging up the front yard or whatever. So we do a visual inspection, so typically that's not something we would be able to see, but during our inspection we will typically recommend that they have it scoped with a camera, fiber optic, through the drain pipe. As one of my inspectors say, it's like the colonoscopy for your drain pipe. Most people can relate to that. So and that'll tell you.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, in this case, like, my son purchased a home, and we had it, because we know that that's what you should do, and they found a major problem with the drain pipe with that sewer scope, and cost about $12,000 for the seller to correct that.
And that's not even the most expensive. I mean, if the pipe, depending on where the pipe is, we have a realtor for one of his investment properties, it was running under the driveway, so they had to jackhammer out the whole driveway in order to replace the pipe. So that was at least $18,000.
So the sewer scope is not part of that home inspection, but we do have a contact that can do that for us. So, it's our job to kind of advise our clients when we see the risk factors. So every home, depending on the age, has a kind of a different risk factor. I personally complete over 14,000 inspections, so I can literally pull up to a house, and knowing the type and the age, I can kind of already
Know what
probably
to look for.
what, I mean, the process is the same, but there's
Yeah.
always an antenna that goes up for items depending on what you're looking at too. So, and electrical, plumbing, the air conditioner is always a big one. The roofer is a big one. We don't see a huge amount of structural problems out here in Arizona. People that are from Texas, they go, oh God, how's that foundation, Paul? Because in Texas we have the expansive soils, so if they get wet, they expand, and their foundations just kind of go up and down like a boat or whatever. So there are areas of expansive soils in Phoenix area, but generally speaking, it's not a high likelihood that you would see that. So
How about termites?
termites are huge.
Yeah.
We have termites here? No,
Oh, yeah.
it's easy.
They say there's two types of houses: those that have them, and those that will have them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people that are surprised that termites out in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they do love moisture, and they get that moisture down in the ground. And then if you've got plumbing leaks or roof leaks or air conditioning condensate leaks, which is a big item, they're attracted to moisture, and that can keep them going. But again, in Arizona, in California, they have these Formosa termites, and they're very massive colonies. They eat very, very rapidly. In Arizona, they're very prevalent, but fortunately, our colonies are not near as big. So the key to the termites is, hey, do I have evidence of termites? And let's get this thing treated so they can go to the neighbor's house or whatever. So, so the fact that a house has evidence of termites would not be something that would scare me away. We do have a lot of people from other parts of the country, and they're like, oh my God, termites, and they're the same people if they, if I see a scorpion or whatever, I'm on the next plane out of here. So you might want to get that ticket,
Yeah. What's the strangest thing you've ever seen?
Yeah, this is
How about that?
that'd be interesting.
You have to visit our Facebook, AJF Engineering Facebook pages, and our Instagram. We have a Social Samurai contest going on all the time with our inspectors.
Okay.
Because you cannot believe the things that we see on inspection.
So I can go to the Facebook page and
the Facebook page is
yes,
awesome.
and
Yeah.
Instagram.
I mean, you just can't make this stuff up.
We have a whole series
Like-
of Halloween
like-
pictures we're going to be posting.
One of my guys posted a picture where it was just a giant shower, like you'd see in a high-end home, like a 10-foot by 6-foot shower with glass enclosure, and in the shower was a toilet.
What? In the shower?
In the
It was in the
shower.
shower, and we're like,
Really?
That's an expensive
It's called
bidet.
multitasking.
I mean, it was just like
Multitask.
and nobody could figure that out. We're just like, so and then we had another one where it was a house up in Greyhawk, and
You're
the
not
guy,
supposed to say that.
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I will not give the address, and it was many years ago. So the guy was from Canada, and he owned this property. Nobody ever went to this house. And then finally he said, I'm going to sell it. So we showed up, did the inspection, and my guy popped the access into the attic. And the pest guy went up there later and estimated there was over 600 pounds of rodent droppings in the attic.
Ew.
I mean, literally, they had moved in and taken over.
Wow.
Well, no one was there.
And nobody was in the house. So they didn't, normally you would hear some scurrying. You'd call a pest guy or something.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. There's a lot. The one funny one was when you mentioned the bidet in the shower. It wasn't a bidet; it was a real toilet.
Yeah.
But we actually
I was talking
had-
about how the shower
Yeah, exactly.
works as the bidet. No.
Exactly. Yeah, right. I like the multitasking for that one. But we actually had once or twice, not even just once, I think it was 2 times, where we found the seller had taken the kitchen sprayer hose that you have for the sink
Yeah.
and attached it to the master bath toilet. Created
Master
their
bath
own.
The shut-off valve.
They created
We call it the
their
poor
own-
man's
the
bidet.
poor man's
Yes,
bidet.
I've seen pictures of that one.
That's
So,
cool.
Agents
Yeah.
post things like that
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah,
and they're
absolutely.
like, "Can you imagine?"
There's many more.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll have to check out the Facebook page
Yes.
for sure, and the
Absolutely.
Instagram, right?
Yeah.
What are the handles again? What are the
It's
names?
just go to AJF Engineering.
Okay,
AJF Engineering.
on both.
Yes.
All right, all right.
fantastic.
So what's like the AJF difference? What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll let Sharon handle
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one.
Oh well.
She's always out there marketing it. They just drag me out of the attic every once in a while.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's been saying 14,000 inspections that he's done. I can't tell you for how many years.
Wow.
So the number's a lot higher, but I let him go with that. There's quite a few differences. First, a lot of people ask, what does AJF stand for?
Yeah.
And it actually stands for our kids. When we moved here and started the company, they were 8 and 10. And we know when you work in your own business, your hours are not set, and it kind of owns you. So we wanted them to feel a part of it, and it's for our kids, Allie and Josh,
Okay.
in Furman.
All right.
And we worked hard to set us apart. And one of the things that automatically did is Paul's boot camp, is what we affectionately call Paul's training program. And he goes about, we're very particular about who we hire and how we train. All of our inspectors are full-time employees. So we are not doing the part-time 1099, work a couple different jobs, and sometimes inspect. And so they go through a program that's not typical in this industry. They're not out in the field within a week of working with us. They are in a training program that can be months. It could be the fastest we've ever had anyone go through was 1 month. It was a record, and there were only 1 or 2 that ever did that. Typically, it's 4 to 6 weeks, but we've had people 3 months, getting through the camp. So
They get like special something when they graduate. Like
right.
A golden
They get
something.
Yeah, they get bumped up in salary.
Oh, there we go.
That's even better.
That's really good.
Because what people have to understand is that we are a licensed state, but the requirements are very minimal. You basically take an 80-hour class, you take a test, and then you have to do 30 parallels with a licensed home inspector, and that's it. And then
Hey, that's more than real estate agents.
But there's no set qualification on that inspector, how long that inspector has to be in the business, and how many inspections that inspector has even done.
So then what happens is most people, when they become licensed, they start their own company, which is great. I would never talk anybody out of that, but kind of their training and their mentoring stops at that point because they're on their own.
Yeah.
And they don't know that much. We only hire typically guys who are already licensed, and then we finish them off in our boot camp. And I know when I interview them that they can't answer most of the questions that I would just ask them to see where they're at. So it's really important that you have that training program with a company that has done thousands of inspections and really understands what we are supposed to be doing on a home inspection. So
that sounds great.
Yeah, and we see we're all over the valley and beyond. So we've done everything from your luxury homes. We've done historic homes. It's any age, any size, any type. We do commercial properties. We've done everything from schools, churches, synagogues to strip malls, restaurants, daycare centers. I mean, you name it. So
all over the place.
All over.
That's nice.
And we have specialists in horse property, and we have specialists in that each know how to handle different things, and we have certain guys that can go up north and know what it is to inspect properties.
You have a specialist yet for tiny homes?
That's funny.
Is that what? The fee's like what? A fourth?
Yeah, right.
you could probably inspect a tiny home from the kitchen.
Yes,
Probably.
there you go.
Probably.
Check.
Everything looks fine from
Looks
here.
good. There's a link right here.
It reminds me of one of our inspectors says whenever they bring an entourage, sometimes the buyer comes and they have the entire family and the parents and the grandparents and the friends and all of that, and he would have them in they'd all follow him everywhere, the whole inspection. And so he was in the bathroom and he said, "Okay, on the count of 3, everybody turn to the right." So
That's funny.
By the way, that's an inspector's nightmare.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Yeah, usually.
In fact, I get to the point where I just hand them a flashlight, the tools, and I just let them.
Here you go.
Not really.
So typically, at least when I deal with the inspection, I usually go at the very end when he's going over the report. Is that what you prefer?
It's so much better if people can do that. It's not comfortable for us to have the clients going around the house on their own without an agent while our team is trying to do their job. Because we've had situations where the buyer has actually broken something and we wind up paying for it because it's on our watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or they interfere with our process. They're turning things on out of order for us. The guys have a certain way, for example, of testing the water to make sure the cold is cold and the hot's hot. And when they start turning it on and running it, we have people stopping the
Or
dishwashers in the middle of a cycle.
And then we don't know if the water in the floor is from the dishwasher door being opened by the buyer because it's actually leaking. So so it can be difficult when they show up. I mean, listen, we're doing the inspection for them. If they want to come in the beginning, that's fine.
But stay out of the way.
Don't show up with the buddy bucket and a lamp like the one guy did. I said, what's with the lamp? And he said, well, I'm going to be checking your electrical outlets with the lamp. I'm worried about them. I said, listen, we've got a tester. We're not only going to check they're energized, we'll make sure they're not grounded, reverse polarity, hot and cold, all that kind of stuff. Just put the lamp away.
Put the lamp away.
or they're following them up on the ladder.
So that was a long inspection, let me tell you, man.
He turned around once and had an elderly gentleman on the roof.
No, I turned around once and there was a 5-year-old on my ladder at the top of the attic in the entrance.
Wow.
And I went, oh my God.
Well, you add another fee, right? A PITA fee?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. We call it the PITA fee.
PTA? No, now you're giving our secrets away.
That's patented.
That's funny.
So since you guys have built a big, it's a fairly good-sized business now.
Yes.
We should do somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 inspections this year.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a big business. So since you came here not knowing anybody, what kind of advice would you give to, just business owners in general, right? Of how did you market? How did you get out there? How did you start making this work?
I'll let Sharon start.
I knew that was coming.
Well, I can tell you that. I can tell you that in the beginning it was just me because Sharon was occupied with other things, and after about 6 months, basically doing one inspection, I finally said, you got to help me with this business. You got to. I can do the inspections, I can do the technical side, but I do need some help in the marketing. So
just get me the people.
Exactly.
Sharon is the one that
All right.
We'll give you the answer.
It's my background, it's my love, and I think the most important thing for marketing a business is it's all about building relationships. As much as we're in a technological age and there's all kinds of tricks and tips and ways to attract clients and do things like that, it still comes down to those relationships. And you have to love people. I love people. I love all types, and they will know early on that I'm interested and I want to know about them and I want to be able to help them. And we're in a service business, and so that has to be your calling. You have to, if that's the type of business where you're interacting with people, it's really important.
Yeah.
And so we just right away got very involved. We started with the realtor associations. We started getting involved right away with community and civic programs and charitable groups, different fundraisers. I would go to different offices and make presentations and see how we could help them. But even though that's something that many people try to do, I think it's really the handwritten notes, remembering birthdays. We were reminiscing about even the holiday gifts when I would run around and get almost personal gifts for the original clients that were sending us business, where I knew what brand of alcohol or wine they drank, or if they went to the movies or whatever. And just so really it was giving that personal touch. Open communication. I want to hear from our clients and our referral sources, which are primarily working in real estate agents, and we always want to know, how can we help, what's going right for you, what's not. We've created a whole series of information packs that they can use online and so forth, that they can share with their clients when they have certain concerns. If they're coming from an area that's high in radon, what do you do here? So that's another big part of it, is the attitude. People don't really care what you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah, that's true.
And they want to work with people they know, like, and trust. Truer words. I know they're cliches, but that is what it's all about.
So how do you remember all of this? What type of wines they like, or
this
what's
is
your
really
secret?
funny. This is really funny, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but I was in college when dinosaurs still roamed the earth, and there was a movie, and in the day, it showed the politician with file cabinets, and every time someone was on the phone, his staff would run and grab a file, and he could ask, it logged the last time they talked and what trip he was going on and all this information. And at the time, I was actually in the television industry. And I grew up, I say, in Westinghouse Broadcasting in New York City. And so I did that with, believe it or not, a lot of the kids don't even know what I'm talking about, but I did it with a Rolodex. And I would make sure I knew all of our clients, what was going on. And so that has never stopped. We have an entire computerized system to help me always remember the details of someone's birthday or their kids or where they originally are from or what they're into. So that helps.
And I think also, you know, Sharon will make the phone ring, but then you have to have the wow factor experience. So the staff answers, the way we get things scheduled, we send out follow-up emails to confirm access, all kinds of stuff. And then when we actually conduct that inspection, and one of the things that set us apart back in 1996 was and we still do, is we print the report out on site. So in 1996, I used to drag around a laser printer. I mean, it was crazy, right? And I had this laptop.
A van or something?
This laptop it was crazy. This laptop ran on Windows 95. I don't know what it ran on. It was old. And, you know, people were like, wow, you know, you print this thing out. We didn't have pictures or anything back then. And they would go, I got a report right here. This is awesome. And so between, you know, the wow factor as far as that experience goes, making the phone ring and, you know, having that repeat customer. You know, and, you know, today everything is about the internet, you know. I mean, anybody can do a website that makes them look like they've been doing something for 1,000,000 years and they're really good at what they do. But you really don't know until they show up and do that for you. You say, you know, okay, that guy's got his act together, or, you know, this is his 4th inspection he's ever done in his life, you know. And so that's why the personal.
Yeah, you're right. And the biggest part, too, is that we have an amazing team. I mean, one of our most senior inspectors has been with us 16 years, and his son is now also one of our inspectors. We have a lot of longevity in the company. Our scheduler has been with us 11 years. I mean, it's just not something that's really very common. And so I think that once someone tries us, that's all we're hoping for, is they give us a shot, and we work to get to know them. And the way we set up our systems is that like Paul said, our whole staff. And then we've actually added a whole series of programs that we don't just inspect, we help protect. We have a recall check service and a bunch of warranties that we offer through that's all free to the client. So that helps with their peace of mind, and that it's also, if someone's looking to do that, I think it's staying with the current market and always looking out ahead to see what's coming and how you can continue to service your clients better and better, and what are their biggest concerns, and how can you offer something that could make a difference for them.
You know, as an agent, so you go in as a kind of the general practitioner, the doctor, right? You say, okay, these are the things that are wrong. We recommend that you get these specialists to come in, right? So I have one where they're saying, okay, you probably need to check the grading, but I have no clue who to call. Do you guys provide resources for the agents to take care of that?
Yes, we do. Actually, the inspectors by licensing are not supposed to be referring anyone, because you don't you don't want it to look like a perceived or real conflict of interest. But I'm not a licensed home inspector, so, and nor is my office team. So we keep a concierge list and we keep track, and through a lot of our networking and working with companies, we get to find out who
the good ones are.
And so we can be a strong referral source, and we keep track of all of that. We always want feedback, and if there isn't something, if we don't know of someone or we don't have information in that area, we'll research it. Because we have so many relationships out there with different businesses and industries that we're happy to help.
All right. Sounds good.
Good stuff.
Before we move to the next segment, any Anything you definitely wanted to share? I definitely want you to share how agents can get a hold of you for sure.
Oh, without a doubt.
So,
well, always call us at 480-661.
Sharon's cell phone number is, no, I'm just kidding.
480-661-8888 is our office number. And you can always email us at office@ajfengineering.com. You can go to our website, and there's a way to start to put in an order there. And we actually have a mobile app for agents that they can use, that we can get on their phone. And it's great if they're with clients and they need to look at a report, they get it right on their phone. So they can start to order an inspection, call us with questions, email us right from the app. So that's another way.
And you also said you had some resources that agents can utilize, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's the website?
The website is ajfengineering.com.
All right, easy enough, right?
Yes.
All right, so you ready to move to the next?
Let's
Sure.
do this.
Ready to get in the ring?
Okay, this is the surprise stuff.
Yes. What's the best advice? And you guys can either both answer or just choose one or whatever. Best advice that anyone's ever given you?
My dad always said, if you start something, you got to finish it.
I like that one.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite mobile app?
Oh. Has to be the mobile app.
This one's going to be kind of strange because nobody really knows it. It's called the Fitbot.com.
Everybody says that one. No, I'm just teasing.
I'm somewhat of a workout fanatic, and so
he's a
it's
CrossFitter.
It's a method for my coach to communicate with me as far as the program and the workout that I'm going to be getting for that particular day. So it's an app.
He does look pretty fit.
Last year he was 15th in the world in his age category for CrossFit, for the CrossFit Games. We were at Madison, Wisconsin, so that would have been his favorite. I could tell you that my only thing that is, thank God I have
wine one.
I should. That is my favorite, actually.
Does that tell you what to pair the wine with?
Sellertracker.com is where I keep track of all of my boutique wines.
Okay, Seller.
I was quite thinking, a few of those.
I was thinking
I think Seller.
Like
CELLAR.
Wine Cellar.
Oh, yes.
So you're a wino.
Well, yes. I like
connoisseur?
my wine.
Yes.
It's a fun hobby.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I like to go visit small wineries, and I'll become a member. I really like it.
It always becomes fun after you've had a few.
Sharon has a particularly hard day at the office, you know. What are we opening tonight?
Yeah, she likes to taste a lot of wine after that, right?
That's right. I was just going to say my smartphone. Thank God for technology.
Yeah.
You could look up, you could Google anything. Google's my favorite. That's not an app, but I love Google.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. How about a book recommendation?
Oh, God. I am such a reader. I don't have one favorite, but I love historical fictions. I can tell you a zillion books. But I think from a business perspective, one book that I really liked is Jeffrey Gitomer's book that's Customer Satisfaction is Worthless and Customer Loyalty is Priceless, or something like that. It really gets into customer service and the wow factor, and that's something that we strive to do for our clients and our agents. So that from a business standpoint, I highly recommend that book.
He's a good author, like him.
Good. Yeah. Good. All right. How about? Oh, do you want to share one?
Well, I like historical fiction, so anything with Genghis Khan in it, I like.
There you go. How about a productivity tool or software that you use on a regular basis?
Oh.
Her cell phone.
Or your cell phone? Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
Let's see. We have a specialized program, Inspection Support Network, and that really is the tool, along with Excel, that we use for all of our productivity, tracking everything. Our inspection ISN has been a great resource for us. It's virtual, so our guys are virtual. Our inspections are all on there. It's a scheduling tool and a tracking tool. So
cool.
Yeah, my favorite tool lately is I discovered it's called Snippet.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And basically, you open a document, and you can snip it, and it's a JPEG, and then you can stick it in an email or whatever. So, like if you're you want to like take a part of the report and stick it in an email. You just snip it, stick it in there. So it's really it's like I've become obsessed with it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I told him about it, and I'm clueless.
I mean, I read these blogs, and they go,
"Oh, this is good.
What are all these different apps?" And like, I don't even understand them when I read them. You know, it's like it combines this and that, and you can get it at one source, and I'm just like, oh. God.
That's funny.
We went to Italy this summer. This was really cool, though, and we were in had a driver who only spoke Italian, and of course we only speak English, and we wound up putting the translation apps on both our phones. He had Italian to English, and we had English to Italian, on Google, and we talked the whole way. We had a great conversation with this guy just through Google.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
so did it say it back to you, or do you have to read it?
No, you read it like in English, and it translates to Italian, and then he goes the other way to us.
You would just say it.
But the problem
Okay.
was we didn't have a super great internet connection, and so it would every once in a while just kind of spin, and we have to wait for it. You know?
I think you can take a picture of a sign too that's in a different language, right?
Yeah,
that is so cool. Isn't it?
Really cool.
I think it's translated.
All right, last question. We'll have you draw from the mask.
Oh God.
This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
Oops. Here we go. You get to read it.
What did you want to be growing up? Oh, wow. Well, I really wanted to be a fighter pilot.
That's a good one.
I was in the Civil Air Patrol in high school. I passed my written exam for flying when I was 16. But there was only one. I had two problems at the time. I can't hear out of one ear, and I had really horrible vision. I got my vision fixed with LASIK, but the other ear never did work, so that kept me out of it.
All right.
So.
And me?
Good. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny. I kept changing my mind. I kept working jobs all through high school, first I thought I was going to be a dance therapist. Then I wanted to be an attorney, and went down to our Philadelphia school system was on strike, and I would go down to City Hall and watch in court. But then once I was in college and I started working in television, that was it. I got into the marketing and communications world. And
good stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess tell the agents again, how they can get a hold of you guys before we finish up here.
Fabulous. Thank you. Please give us a call. Hire the best, expect nothing less. AJF Engineering and Inspections, 480-661-8888. Our engineering expertise in home and commercial inspections.
There we go. And a big shout out also to Elisa, right?
Elisa Axelrod. We love her. She is a wonderful security title marketing rep, and she's here to help you and service you and your clients as well.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. All right, guys. Well, until next time, this is Jeff Underwood.
And Joey Sampaga.
Signing off from Security Title Studios. We'll see you later. Adios.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
great job.
Good job.